Good morning and welcome to Worship with Watershed. It is my favorite day of the week, my favorite time of the week, and we're so glad you're joining us for this time this morning. My name is Lori Miracle, and I have a guest here with me this morning.
Hi, I'm Christina Mendoza.
And Christina has hosted before, so you might have seen her, but she's joining us this morning, and I'm thankful for that.
Thank you, Ms. Lori.
We are in a sermon series called I Am. Christina, did last week's message speak to you?
It did, and it has been the message about Moses and dealing with rejection, abandonment, all those issues that sometimes we pack up, letting them out, feeling them, going through it, and Pastor David has really brought it.
Yes, last week was a great word for all of us in dealing with our mistakes.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yes, dealing with mistakes, and I remember thinking off and on throughout the week, when I make a mistake, I can become hardened, or I can be humbled.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's a good word for all of us. Hey, Pastor David mentioned last week in the message, he referred to a felony.
Oh, yeah. And all our jaws dropped.
Yeah, and then he left everyone hanging, right? So
Yes.
I was hosting last week in-house and was able to explain for my husband because I felt the need to do that. But those of you watching online didn't hear that story, so I thought I'd just tie that up. Is
Yes,
that okay
please,
with you?
please.
Yes. We, many years ago, we were on our way to Colorado to, David was going to perform a wedding in Colorado for some friends, and we were leaving our high school-age children home alone for the first time, but we had a handgun that David was storing for his brother who was overseas. And he thought to himself, hey, I don't want to leave that gun here in the house with the girls home alone. So he was going to take it to church and put it in the safe.
Oh, well, smart thing to do, yeah.
Exactly. Good idea. Well, he got distracted because he was helping a homeless person outside of the church, never did put it in the safe. And the next morning when we went to the airport, he got in a lot of trouble.
Lo and behold.
Yes. So he went through security not remembering that handgun was in his bag. I got to talking to the guy behind me, distracted by all the bells and whistles. And when I looked back, my husband was gone. He was at the police stand, and I went over and saw them pulling out his Bible, his wedding manual, and then they pulled out
The gun.
And I said to David, ooh, you are in trouble. And he said, no, I'm not. And then the police officer said, yes, sir, you are.
Oh, my
So
gosh.
anyway, he did go to jail. And I was distraught. It was early in the morning. I had to figure out what to do. But you know what I did? I called my church family. I called some of the leaders in the church and just said, I need help. I didn't know what to do. But what a blessing when we don't have to hide our mistakes.
Yes, and we often do. We often do come to one another, I think, not on a weekly basis, daily maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you know, there's this idea that you need to bury your mistakes, hide it. There's this shame. But there's so much freedom in just saying, hey, I blew it.
Yes.
I need help.
Yes. We're all imperfectly perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's part of our journey to need one another. You're in a growth group too right now.
I am. I love it. Experiencing God. It has been so moving. It's been a little scary. And you mentioned that it might, feel like, oh, no, I can't do this. But it's been beautiful. I've seen God's work week after week in this group.
Yeah, we're learning how to recognize God being at work around us.
Yes.
And learning how to recognize it when He's pursuing us.
Yes.
When He's inviting us to get involved with Him in His work. And we're hearing all these testimonies.
Yes. The testimonies and fighting through our crisis of belief. Sometimes as believers, we